going to talk about a topic right now that has escaped the attention of almost all the people that I listen to online, and that's the issue of Catalan independence. Now, I think in the United States, where we barely know anything about Canada or Mexico, it's entirely understandable that nobody knows what the fuck a Catalan is. So for those of you that don't know, Catalonia is one of the constituent parts of Spain at the moment. Spain has for centuries been considered a single unitary country, even though if you really look at the different regions, it doesn't really hold water that it's a united country. There's the very poor south, which is, they definitely identify as Spaniards, but you look at some of the parts of it, Galicia, you have Navarro, you have the Basque country. They speak, in some cases, dialects of Spanish, but in the case of the Basques, for example, it's not Spanish at all. It's not even like a Latin language. It's just, I think the Basque language is a Celtic dialect of some sort. I'm not sure. But people don't know the history of Spain is as a colonialist imperial power. And that goes back from before they took over the Americas, Mexico, what was called New Spain, Colombia, Argentina. It goes back to them reconquering the Iberian Peninsula. Now, why is this an important topic and why should you care? It shows that the European Union will eventually lead to the erosion of national identities in the case of the states that are currently part of it. Now, what will happen is that Spain will, in this case, break up, at least lose one of its constituent parts, which is Catalonia. And then, Catalonia will probably join the European Union. I think that they are a pro-European public. But we're going to see some of these governments are going to realize that as part of the EU, which is a multinational body that exerts its authority over the countries that are a part of it and basically treats them like provinces, the smaller parts of these, the subnational entities within these member states will start to basically say, why the fuck do we need to be part of Spain in this case, or part of Italy, part of, you could say down the road in the future, it doesn't look like it's going to happen right now, but Germany too. Why would Bavaria want to be part of Germany when in the end they're all parts of the EU? There's nothing that holds some of these countries together apart from their national government. I think the easiest case would be Belgium, because it's composed of 2 or 3 communities: the German community, the French-speaking Walloon community, and the Dutch-speaking Flemish community. They don't have much to hold them together, except for the fact that I think they're all Catholic. So let's read a little through this. It says, does Catalonia want to be an independent state of in Republican format is the question. So that's the question of the referendum. It says the independence referendum, in which the Catalan government has been spending months working on, now has a date, the coming 1st of October. If this happens, the citizens will have to answer the following question: does Catalonia want to be an independent state in Republican form? At least this is the will which has come out this Friday from a meeting, a special meeting of the Catalan executive, which would be that'll be like their regional leadership of Catalonia. According to an announcement by President Carles Puigdemont. So then it goes on to talk about the parties that are promoting it. This opens a new road to that is as unilateral as it is uncertain, threatening through its refusal the central government and the resolutions of the Constitutional Tribunal, which have annulled all the acts linked to the documents of Puigdemont. So we're talking about a referendum that might be rejected by the Spanish central government in Madrid. But if Catalonia does vote in favor of this independence, which they've done it in non-binding referendums before, what is to stop this region from leaving Spain? Well, the European Union can basically they can make a consideration. They can impose on the Catalans that they will not be members of the European Union. They can say, well, we believe in the territorial integrity of our members, so no, we're not going to accept you as a new member state. Now, they did do this technically with Scotland. They said after Brexit, they said when Scotland threatened to leave Britain unless they reversed the EU referendum, the EU basically said, well, thanks but no thanks. We don't need you as a member. Either the entire UK comes in or none of it does. I think if they would have done otherwise, it would have been at least a better strategic move, even though in the long run, I think that Scotland would not have left the United Kingdom. They have much more to lose by leaving the British Union, the United Kingdom, than they do by leaving the European Union. And I think it's the same thing would go for Catalonia. But I think the difference is that Catalonia has long wanted to leave Spain. They've never made any bones about wanting to leave Spain. They've always said, we don't believe in this royal government where they're first of all staunch Republicans. They were Republicans during the Spanish Civil War. That was the most they were the most left-wing part of Spain during the Civil War from 1936 to 1939. So I think it's very unsurprising that Catalonia will probably be voting to leave this to leave Spain. What happens after that? That's a very good question. Spain is currently not very popular. I was about to say popular, but they're not very powerful as a economic engine within the EU. And this type of threat will likely cause a number of these countries to say, you know what, if the EU is undermining our sovereignty or whatever it is, we're going to just decide not to be in it. We're just going to do our own Brexits. Okay, so how far back does this go? The nation of Catalonia has not technically been independent since the year 1137. That's when it came under the rule of Aragon. So this was before there even was a united Spain. Catalonia was under, a feudal union. That means like two families get together, two royal families. One of them gets married to the other. Usually the daughter's crown gets put under the husband's crown, and that's what happened. So, Aragon became the lords of Catalonia. You can see this on the map. This is Aragon, where my cursor is right now, and this is Catalonia. And that gives you a small idea of how, Spain was not that big of a country back. And in fact, half of the country was Muslim at the time. And then eventually the Castile and Aragon united, and they reconquered the south of Spain. And basically, you got this united country that we have today. However, the languages of Spain have never really disappeared. They try to enforce a standard Spanish sometime during the Middle Ages, and then later more and more aggressively, especially under the regime of Francisco Franco, before and after World War II. So what the EU is doing is giving rise to these subnational identities, and eventually the national identities are going to become eroded so much that nobody's going to care. Now, I'm not going to say that the Catalonians don't have a point. I think that given their history, they might as well secede. I don't see like a reason why they shouldn't leave Spain. I'm not trying to argue that Spain should be the ones that are respected in this case. I usually try to side with local control if possible, unless you're talking about a violent country that they're going to get into conflicts anyways after they become independent. But I see in this case, this referendum, if the EU does not accept Catalonia and the popular will is suppressed, we're going to see it's still not going to increase the popularity of the EU, because a lot of these, they really don't they're not going to take no for an answer. It's the same thing with the Irish. I mean, they keep getting told no whenever they want to retake Northern Ireland from the British. They're not going to give up on their identity. It's going to continue to be an issue that has to be resolved one way or another. I'm not going to say how, but this is further evidence that the European Union just undermines the identities of real countries. They're bringing in migrants. You had, I think it was last month or in May, that Macron, the new French president, said there is no such thing as French culture. Well, if there is no such thing as French culture, then France as a cohesive unit might fall apart. There is similar, I wouldn't say that they're as large of an issue, but there's similar problems in parts of France. I think Brittany as we call it in English, that is a region where it's possible that the locals would secede from France and form their own country. You have Corsica, which is more Italian speaking than French speaking. Why would they not want to leave France? You have in Italy, you have Sicily and Sardinia. Why would they not want to leave Italy? You have Naples in the south. The whole country could split apart. So these national leaders in the future might decide, hey, this EU thing, it really kind of makes people think, why do they need us? Why the fuck do they need us if they have these they have this massive conglomerate called the EU that makes all the decisions anyway? Why would they need us? We have to leave. So I think in the long run, the EU is going to disintegrate one way or another. I've said before, and I'm still going to stick to it, given what happened in France and the Netherlands, where you did see advances in the anti-EU groups, but not quite enough. So I'm going to reiterate here, I think Italy will be the next country to elect an anti-EU government, and eventually they'll have a referendum and they will leave the EU, and then once they leave, if Italy is the one to leave, if another country leaves, I don't know if it will be such an effect, but if it becomes Italy that is the next state to leave the EU, then the EU is completely finished right there. They may hang on for like a couple more years with the scraps. Germany and whatever other countries are fine with having Germany take a shit on them. Not that I have a problem. I have German friends too. I don't have a problem with the Germans per se. I'm just saying that Germany is driving the EU, and currently you're seeing all this chafing and whatever. Greece is basically a basket case because of this lending issue. You are going to see just an exodus of all these countries that are EU subjects right now. So that's it. A little something to think about for those of you that are interested. Not that there's that many of you, but I'm talking about real issues that I think are kind of being ignored by the general public, not just in America, by the way, but all over the world. So have a great weekend, what's left of it. I'll probably be joining you again tomorrow for something else. And have a great night.